Deutsche Bank published a report with a line that should concern anyone watching global finance. I'm quoting, "The conflict could be the catalyst for erosion in petrodollar dominance and the beginnings of the Petroyuan." Researcher Malika Sachdeva wrote that the huge strategic importance of the Middle East to the dollar's role as the world's reserve currency should not be underestimated, and that the current conflict could test the foundations of the petrodollar regime. There were specific quotes from her. So this is not fringe commentary anymore. This is Deutsche Bank saying the Iran war might be remembered as the moment the petrodollar started dying. And if we look at what's actually happening in the Strait of Hormuz right now, the evidence suggests they might be right. I'm Elle, I have a PhD in computer science, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics. First, let's establish what the petrodollar is and why it matters, because this system underpins American financial power in ways most people don't see. The petrodollar was born in 1974 when Saudi Arabia agreed to price its oil exports in US dollars and reinvest those proceeds in US assets, primarily treasury bonds, in exchange for American security guarantees. This came 3 years after Nixon ended the dollar's convertibility to gold in 1971. The US needed a new foundation for dollar demand, and oil became that foundation. As Deutsche Bank puts it, I'm quoting again, "The world saves in dollars in large part because it pays in dollars." Here's what's really happening under the hood here. Saudi Arabia and the UAE together hold around $250 billion in US Treasuries. 5 Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, and Bahrain, peg their currencies to the dollar, which requires them to hold vast amounts of US dollars to maintain those pegs. When oil is priced in dollars globally, it creates sustained demand for the currency. That demand allows the US government to borrow more cheaply than its peers because there's a structural bid for dollar-denominated assets. The petrodollar helps keep US interest rates lower than they would otherwise be. But the 1974 deal had 2 parts: dollar pricing and security guarantees. The US promised to protect Gulf infrastructure, station troops in the region, provide advanced weapons, and ensure free navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. The second part just broke. Iran now controls the Strait of Hormuz, a waterway that handles 20 million barrels of oil per day and roughly 20% of global liquefied natural gas trade. And according to multiple reports, Iran is conditioning passage through the strait on payment for oil in Chinese yuan rather than US dollars. Check the video on foreign banks dumping US Treasuries. This currency shift is happening alongside financial distancing. Let me show you what the numbers are really telling us. 90% of Iran's oil exports go to China. China is also the top customer for Saudi Arabian crude. China absorbs 37% of all crude oil passing through the Strait of Hormuz, while the US accounts for just 2.5%, so the largest buyer and the country controlling the choke point are both incentivized to trade in yuan. And the US, which promised to keep the strait open and secure, has demonstrably failed to do so. Trump himself acknowledged this as well. He said, I'm quoting, "We don't use the strait, we don't need it, Europe needs it, Korea, Japan, China, a lot of other people." Translation in normal words, America isn't protecting the Strait of Hormuz anymore for American interests. So why would Gulf states continue recycling their oil revenues into US assets in exchange for security that the US is no longer providing? If you want to sharpen your ability to spot these structural shifts before they become obvious, check out my book, Awake: The Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Self-Lies, available in ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can grab the first chapter for free in the description links below. Now, here's where it gets more interesting. The Petroyuan isn't hypothetical, it already exists. Russian and Iranian sanctioned oil combined totals roughly 13 million barrels per day, about 14% of global oil supply. That is not a negligible amount, and most of it settles in non-dollar currencies, primarily the Chinese yuan. In 2023, Chinese energy giant CNPC conducted its first oil transaction in digital yuan through the Shanghai Oil and Natural Gas Exchange. Oil trade between China, Iran, and Russia is already mostly settled in yuan via KIPS, China's alternative to SWIFT. And Saudi Arabia, the original petrodollar partner, is hedging as well. Saudi Arabia joined the mBridge project, a central bank digital currency initiative led by China that directly challenges dollar-based payment infrastructure. China has invested over $70 billion in Persian Gulf infrastructure projects. These are not just bilateral trade deals anymore. This is China building alternative financial architecture so Gulf states can trade energy without touching the dollar system. Deutsche Bank warns, I'm quoting here, damage to Gulf economies could encourage an unwind in their foreign asset savings held largely in dollars. They also add another quote, if the Gulf moves closer to Asia in its trade and investment relationships and eventually prices less oil in dollars, there could be significant downstream effects to the dollar's usage in global trade and savings. Now, there are counter-arguments to this. Dollar skeptics have been predicting the currency's demise for decades and being consistently wrong. The offshore dollar credit market grew from $2.5 trillion in the year 2000 to $14.2 trillion by 2025, showing structural resilience. The dollar's dominance stems from the depth and liquidity of US financial markets and network effects that are extremely difficult to replicate. Even during the Iran war, the dollar has surged against other currencies. But the tell is, when you dig into publicly available data on where oil is actually flowing and how it's being paid for, a pattern emerges. The question isn't whether China suddenly replaces the dollar as the sole global reserve currency. The question is whether a parallel system emerges where an increasing share of global energy trade bypasses dollar settlements entirely, and the answer to that question is already yes. Consider the mechanics. Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, China is the buyer, the US failed to provide security, so Iran and China transact in yuan. Russia, under sanctions, sells oil to China in yuan. Saudi Arabia watches this and realizes its largest customer prefers yuan settlement and has built the infrastructure to support it. Meanwhile, the US security umbrella that justified dollar recycling is visibly failing. Gulf states are getting bombed despite American promises. Watch the video on the Trump would failing in gold repatriation. The same loss of confidence driving that is driving this. Deutsche Bank's conclusion, I'm quoting again, the conflict could be remembered as a key catalyst for erosion in petrodollar dominance and the beginnings of the Petroyuan. And there is an interesting discussion happening about whether China even wants this. One argument is that China doesn't want a Petroyuan because it would create upward pressure on the yuan, making Chinese exports more expensive. Another is that China is heavily invested in renewables, so why bet on fossil fuel currency dominance anyway? The answer is probably a lot more nuanced. China likely doesn't want the yuan to become the singular global reserve currency. That comes with a lot of costs, and the US is discovering this. But China absolutely wants optionality. A world where oil can be priced in yuan gives China leverage. It reduces vulnerability to US sanctions. It allows China to settle trade without accumulating dollar reserves that the US could freeze. And it gives oil exporters an alternative to dollar dependence. So the future probably is not Petroyuan replaces petrodollar. The future is likely a diversified, multipolar currency system where oil trades happen in dollars, yuan, euros, and possibly digital currencies depending on the buyer and the seller, whatever they want. But that diversification still represents the erosion of petrodollar dominance. The dollar doesn't need to collapse completely for American financial power to weaken significantly. It just needs to lose its monopoly position in global energy markets, and this is already underway. What's going to happen next? Here's my personal read on this. I think by 2028, a substantial and growing share of Gulf oil exports to Asia will be priced and settled in yuan. This will probably not be announced as policy. It'll happen incrementally, transaction by transaction, as buyers and sellers optimize for their own interests rather than maintaining a system that no longer serves them. Saudi Arabia will probably not abandon the dollar entirely, but it will increasingly accept yuan for Chinese purchases. The UAE will likely follow, other Gulf states will establish yuan clearing facilities, and each step in this direction reduces demand for dollar-denominated assets, which means higher borrowing costs for the US government and American consumers. The petrodollar's death isn't a single event, it is a process, and the Iran war, by demonstrating that America can't or won't fulfill its security guarantees, is accelerating this process. Right now, watch the video on your screen about Europe decoupling from Visa and MasterCard payment infrastructure. Because the Petroyuan, the digital euro, the treasury selling, the gold repatriation, the payment system alternatives, they are not separate stories. They are components of a global financial system fragmentation along geopolitical lines. The dollar will remain dominant for years, possibly decades, but its dominance will be diminished, conditional, and contested in ways it hasn't been since 1974. And the Strait of Hormuz, where tankers now pay in yuan to pass, is where that shift becomes undeniable. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.